Hi, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for being here. We are so excited that 55 of you are watching right now, which is amazing. Thank you for your patience this morning. We had a little bit of snafu with the online software, but we are so happy to be sharing with you live from Quilt City, USA. So first, I want to say something, which is, look, we know it's a really weird time right now. We know so many of you are alone in your homes, unable to get out. I've been stuck in my house for a while. And I just want you to know that you're not alone. We're here with you, and we're excited to be quilting on together. It's a perfect time to do a project. And today we're going to share some really exciting stuff with Judi Madsen. We are so happy to have you here today, Judi. Judi is one of our quilting stars, and I have the best job in the world because I get to talk to people like her on a daily basis. So I need to, I think I've got you unmuted now. And so welcome. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
So every week for the next few weeks, we're going to have some of our quilting stars on here for you to share some inspiration, ideas. We're going to find out what they're working on and what they're doing to pass the time. And we hope that this little bit of inspiration will make you want to go and quilt something beautiful during these not so beautiful times. So Judi, what are you up to?
Oh my word, so much. It's interesting because this crazy time for us has been even crazier because quilters are at home. So with our business and stuff, I've actually been pretty busy. But as far as like in my studio, I typically have 17 things going on. So um I don't know if that's normal. I'm sure it is because most of you probably feel the same way. But I have a couple of things I'll just kind of hold up. So like this right here is something I'm working on. This is a border. So I'm piecing it. You can't, it's really long without, the screen. I can't show you the whole thing. But I mean, check out just how many pieces this has. It's going to be a really awesome quilt. So that's one of my projects that I'm working on. It's going to be my attempt at my own personal show quilt. So I won't be able to share the whole thing, but it's something that I've kind of dreamed up and I'm really excited about. So that's one thing.
That's so exciting. So, and you're known, for everybody who knows you, which I think is a lot of people on here, you're known as a long armor. And the first thing you showed me was some really great piecing. So I'm excited to see that. And I'm excited that you're working on a new show quilt. I think a lot of us have been there, and I'm not me personally. I'm like a very, very beginner quilter, but I know a lot of the people watching have been there. So that's exciting. And I'm excited to see, where it goes and ready to see it in one of the AQS contests.
Oh yeah, I'm excited about that. One thing that a lot of people don't know is that I was a piecer before I became a long armor. So as far as designing patterns and that kind of thing, that's kind of how I got my start. The quilting machine was like, a means to an end. It helped us bring in some money when we first started our business. And like this quilt behind me, this is my newest release. It's called Patchwork Tilly. I don't know if you can go out. I've shared it on my social media and stuff. So it's a new pattern. I love the whole process. I love piecing. I love, long arming and then writing up the pattern. So that's kind of what I love to do. So
I love it. So you're doing a little bit of everything, of course. And you had actually a show, an exhibit at in Paducah a couple years ago. Was it last year or 2 years ago?
Oh, my free spirit, was it? I'm trying to think. I've won a couple times. Was it? No, wait.
It was really recently. I remember getting to hang it and getting to meet your sister, which is so fun.
Yes. Hello, Amy. Are you
watching, Amy? Hi, if you're watching. If those of you watching at home, I think that Judi, your tour of that is up on our YouTube channel, Quilt TV.
Oh,
so everybody check that out. She forgot about it, but it's fine.
Well, that was last spring. not this, well, because obviously it was canceled, but yeah, that was last spring. So yes, you can see all of my quilts on the tour. It was really fun. It was kind of scary though. I mean, I had to like talk about it by myself without any prompts. So I like being able to talk to you, Liz.
See, this is a little bit like less pressure, and so I like this format too. So definitely go check that out, Quilt TV. You're gonna love it. You can just, I think you can just search for Judi Madsen on there, and she'll come up. So, if any of you online have any questions for Judi while we're at this, I'm kind of monitoring this over at the side. I see Kimberly Einmo's on here with us, and Karen Marquardt, and Ann Haleywood. So hello to all of you other quilt stars who are watching from home. And we have people from Canada, New Zealand, Arkansas, Florida, all over. So thank you so much for being here. I want to ask you, can you give us a little sneak peek tour of your studio area?
Sure. And I have to say, I cleaned it specifically. Actually, it was a good push for me because it was in a pretty bad state of, I'll just tell you this though. I just recently finished a quilt that I am working with Karen K. Buckley on. Oh my word. It is so beautiful, but obviously I can't share it. Oh. And like, oh, I'm so excited for people to see it, but we can't share it obviously for, sure, reasons. But you'll see. And when I'm in that state of total, creative mojo, my studio goes to like, nothing else happens but this quilt. And so there's probably like, 17,000 yards of thread spilled on the floor, and it just, anyway. So yeah, I will take you around. Let's see, let me switch you. Okay, so this is the view out. I've got two really nice big windows. I don't know how well you can see it. This is the edge of my room. Right here's my little piecing area. You can see I've got another project on here. This is going to be another piecing design. And it's been a while since I've pieced with white, so you can watch for quilting on that. There's my patchwork Tilly. And I'll swing around. Here's my ironing board and a couple of other projects that I've got. And, oh, I gotta show you something really cute really quick. So this, this little thing right here, my son made that for me today. It's cute. Isn't that cute? He just
framed it. Cute. He did a wonderful job.
I'm impressed. He's only 9, so he got that and made it for me. So, okay. And then I've got some projects I think we'll talk about in a minute, but then I've got my books and my too much fabric. I actually ended up not throwing it out, but donating quite a bit of fabric. So it's all clean now. I've got my quilt caddy back there, and then 2 quilting machines. So this one on the left is my computerized edge to edge. So that's what I do for customers. And just so I can, have something going, because my custom work typically takes a while. But okay, are we showing? Am I going right into this, Liz, or do you have?
Sure, go for it. Let me ask you a question first. Your studio is like dream studio, and I have to say, my house is also as clean as it's ever been right now because I'm so bored. And when I get like anxious, I just want to clean everything. So it's the perfect time for company to come over, and company cannot come over. So I'm right there with you on the cleaning. Can I ask you, do you have any advice for people at home setting up their own studio space? Because it looks like you've got it down to a science.
Oh my word. Well, this room has actually been moved around quite a bit. This dimensions are just a little over 16 feet by 22 feet. So it's a big room. We actually, for the longest time, I quilted in my bedroom. And when we built this house, it's been a little over 6 years ago, we needed to find a home that had a studio. So there's like house hunting. This was it was supposed to be a theater, and I'm like, nope, no theater. This will be a quilting studio. So as far as organizing it, I think the main thing would be, the shelves, just so you can have a place for things. I've got drawers, and I'm not super like organized. It looks organized,
It
but
looks amazing.
thank you. I appreciate it. But really, honestly, I don't know. And then I just throw things around, that I love. One of the things that I like to, I'll show you, just like there's a picture of my son. I don't know if you can see. He was about 2, and it was one of the
Oh,
that I worked on. And he came over and was piecing out on the floor, and just, things that, I put around that are important to me. And, and then I want to be able to hang up quilts and stuff. So my bolts, these are adjustable shelves. So one thing that someone told me was to make sure if you're going to put in shelves to make them adjustable so you can play around and move the sizes. And, that has been a great thing because before that, just thinking about not being able to change things. I think when we're creative, we like to be able to move things around. So
absolutely. I think that was a really good piece of advice that I would have never thought of. So so you heard it from her. Put up stuff that inspires you, the pictures of your loved ones, things that make you want to create, have plenty of space that can be adjusted. And I like that you've got all the light in there. I would need those bright windows open too to keep me from feeling sluggish. So it's a great
yeah,
setup.
thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I'm really grateful for it. So, and I don't have a design wall. The floor is good for me. So
The floor works great. So I interrupted you. Show me what you're working on right now.
okay. So I just got a customer quilt on. This is Jean's quilt. I wish I would have asked her what the pattern is, but I will share that on Facebook when I know. But what it is, okay, so I don't know how well you can see. I'm going to turn my light here so that kind of helps. I'll move this over here. Okay, can we all see that okay?
It looks great.
Okay. So this is just, sometimes I throw people off because I'm like, this is a simple custom for me. And my boy was in here this morning. He's like, Mom, I thought you were going easy on this one. I'm like, this is easy. So anyway, I wanted to show you just kind of my process of drawing. So you can kind of see, I'll get as close as I can here, where it's been quilted, but also what I draw on my quilts. Okay. And I come up with like a theme, and then so you can see this pinwheel design will be throughout. Let me show this right here. And what I'm doing is I'm kind of framing all the piecing in the background. Okay. And so that's drawn. I just use like a purple disappearing marker and my ruler to draw it on there. And then one thing I wanted to kind of show, maybe give a little tip, is that a lot of times you have, so see this point here and this point here, I use the piecing to help me come up with lines. So for example, like this, you can kind of see I've got like a rail design going through each one of these points here. And what that's going to do as I pan over here, you'll see that that will continue and it creates a nice corner design. Okay. So, and that's going to be like basically running through the background of this border that I'm making with the quilt. Okay. And then, so all I did was to start that line is I used the piecing from this point to this point to get this line here. And then I build on that. So I go a 1/2 inch out and a quarter here. So I hope that makes sense, but that's kind of my thought process as far as quilting. And you can kind of see, how I've gone across. I'm still working my way over here, but I have stitched along the ditch in these areas here. So, okay, let me come back to my, let's switch back. Okay, so that's what I'm working on right now.
I love that. I love the idea of using the piecing to inform the quilting because, in a lot of ways you think, to carry motifs over where I've got triangles, I'll do more triangles or, but to actually use those lines to guide you and to reflect in the border, I think that really kind of helps unify the whole piece. And I would not have thought of that. So that's a great tip. For those of you at home, if you're quilting, use the piecing not just to inspire you for maybe the different shapes that you're using, but also to guide where you're going with it. That's really neat. Thanks for showing us that.
Oh, you bet. That's a lot of how I design. So I'm like looking at different lines and different angles. And so hopefully that helps y'all out there. So,
Well, and one of the big things that you're known for, and I know that you have a book with us, is secondary designs. So can
Mhm.
you tell us a little bit about what secondary designs are and how you
Oh,
incorporate
yeah.
them into quilting?
Okay. So yeah. Well, I'll flip you back to the
Great.
quilt so I can kind of talk about that. Um, Okay, so if you look back at this quilt, you see a lot of different shapes that can happen, right? So I see a on point square here, but I also see, because of the piecing, I see a square here. So see how this is creating a frame? And it's not the actual piecing. What I'm doing is I'm taking part of this block and putting it with this block. And then you can see I'm creating a frame in the background. So hopefully you can see that. But what this will do once I finish up this whole area, it's going to take and make this into a square. So not only will your eyes see the diamond effect of the stars, but you will also see the squares here. So I hope that kind of explains it, but that's the main thing with secondary designs is that you are playing in the background, and the piecing, like the stars or whatever you're using, those are just emphasized. So like with my stars that I showed you, I'm just doing straight lines and I'm not really taking away from the piecing. I'm just playing in the background. So
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
secondary design. So
Well, and it makes sense to me in a way, and I'm not, like I said, I'm a very beginner quilter. Maybe one day I'll show you the stuff I'm working on, but I'm not ready for that yet.
I'm fearless.
But I will say that my background is in literature and poetry, and to me, it's almost kind of like poetry, right? Because you've got the different parts of the quilt are informing the rest of it, and you're balancing it, and it's all in balance. It's really kind of beautiful to me. So I'm glad you were able to tell us about that. And I've got a question on here. Someone has asked, did you go around and stitch around all the blocks before you quilted?
I've only done just the points, so the triangles. So basically like the border. What I will do is I will finish each one as I go along. And the other thing to remember is if you have a really straight quilt, not a lot of problems, not a lot of movement, you're okay to go, from one side to the next.
Okay.
If it's maybe a treble quilt, which this one is not, I'm having really good, she's done really well. I can go from one side to the other. I hope that answers, but yeah, I basically, I won't go and stitch around every block through the whole quilt and then go back and quilt. I will finish my area of quilting and then continue. So
that makes perfect sense. And I know sometimes it depends on the quilt and kind of what needs to be tacked down. But like you said, if it's already pretty well in place, just being able to go across it, that works great.
totally, yeah.
So I want to ask you about your iQuilt classes. So those of you who don't know about iQuilt is an online learning platform exclusive through AQS. And so we have some amazing, amazing instructors from all around who have online classes through iQuilt. And the great, great thing about iQuilt is if you're like me, you're going to start on something and then you're going to go, oh, wait, I just missed something. Well, you can pause it and then you can rewind and you can play it again. And if you need to play it 6 or 7 times until you get it, which sometimes I do, you can do that. You can take notes, and once you buy the class, it is yours. AQS members, if you're a member, you save 20% on all iQuilt classes. And Judi, you have 3 of them.
Thank you.
Can you tell us a little bit about the iQuilt classes that you have to offer?
Okay, if you're just starting, probably the first one that you'll want to do is Quilting Makes a Difference. I go over the modern versus traditional approach of the quilt, but I also it teaches you a lot. It's really phenomenal for beginners, but also for quilters that have done it for a while and need a fresh set of ideas. And okay, and then because I can show you, Liz. Are we going to show? Or are we going to?
Yeah, you can show me whatever. I'd love to see whatever you have.
All right, so I don't know how I've got a little bit of shadowing going on, but you can see this is my this is the traditional view of the Quilting Makes a Difference. So I teach you how to do the feather and the double connecting curve. This was done on a silk. It's really quite beautiful. But you can see the difference between the two. This is the same project, but kind of a modern approach on this. So this is a good class to take if you're beginning, and really I break it down for you so it's not really scary.
Well, and that is great because I know personally I can get really overwhelmed with new things like that. And so having you break it down piece by piece, and those of you watching, you can tell Judi is such an easy person to talk to, easygoing, explains things with great detail, and she makes it easy for you to understand. So I encourage all of you while you're at home. Unfortunately, we can't be going to shows right now, but you can learn at home with iQuilt. You can learn online. We have so many different offerings for you. And I also want to mention, and I just put the graphic up a minute ago, but we'll put it up there again. Judi, you've also got 2 books with us, published by AQS, Quilting Wide Open Spaces and Secondary Designs. So if you want to learn more about her quilting process, which why wouldn't you? I'm so inspired right now. Then you can get those books. We also have some of your rulers as well. And again, AQS members will save 20% on all of these items. So after this, if you go to shopaqs.com, you can get those books, you can get the iQuilt classes, and really continue your quilting while you're at home. There's no reason that we have to stop creating. Right now is a perfect time to be creating, and we've got the tools.
That's our sanity, right? We
right.
Need to, to keep creating.
Yes, keep creating, quilt on. And I want, before we close out real quick, I just want to ask you, other than quilting, so I have decided to try to bake bread, but you can't buy yeast in Paducah, you guys. Everyone's baking bread right now. So do you have another hobby that you're working on, or anything else you're doing to keep sane, or are you just staying really, really busy quilting?
Okay, it's just I'm making it a goal to take takeout every day.
There you go.
I'm like, takeout. I'm eating a lot of ice cream. We have a whole tray full of Schwann's yummy ice cream. I don't know if you know what that brand is. I don't know if it's national or whatever, but their first ingredient is cream. It's amazing. And I just discovered a banana, what's it called? It's a banana ice cream. And I don't like banana flavor, but this ice cream is to die for. So yeah, I'm keeping busy. And then by the end of the day, I'm crashing into eating ice cream and looking forward to takeout.
I think that is wonderful. And right now we need to be kind to ourselves. And I have to tell you, before all of this, when I got takeout, I was like, oh, I'm being lazy, I should be cooking. But now I get takeout from a local business, and I feel like I'm just supporting the economy and doing a great thing. So
yeah, that's our approach, mine and my husband's. We've decided, we're like, well, if we have to get, the 20-pound epidemic weight gain, we'll do it to support all of our local people and business. So that's kind of our approach to it. But it's been, we're trying to make the best of this crazy time. So
absolutely. And I can tell you are, and those of you at home, you can make the best of it too. Let's all continue to quilt. Let's all continue to create and be inspired by each other. Judi, you have certainly inspired me today. I want to thank you. And I also especially want to thank you for being here at 2 o'clock, even though we tried at 10 o'clock. And I think you moved around your schedule for me. So thank you so much. We are so appreciative of that.
Oh, absolutely. It's been fun.
All right. Well, I want to thank you all for being here, and we hope to see you next week. Next week, we'll have Kimberly Einmo with us, and Kimberly is watching right now. So hi, Kimberly. Hi. I can't wait to see what you have to show us. Thanks again, Judi, and I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope that you enjoy your ice cream tonight, okay?
Okay. Oh, for sure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.